Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Journey to Faith podcast. My name is Nadesha Stenzel, and I will be your host here. So this is the very first episode of this new podcast, and I'm super excited to be sharing my journey to faith. And I have to honestly say that I'm also quite nervous because firstly, I've never done a podcast before. And secondly, I will be speaking on a topic which is also still very new to me. And so that's really the intention of my podcast. And, this is the why behind why I'm doing this is to share this journey authentically, although I am also still just at the very beginning of this journey. So I'm not here to teach or preach or to share years of experience. No, quite the contrary. I've only just started on this path of faith, of Christianity myself, and I want to take you along with me on this journey. I want to share my journey with you. And of course, we will be speaking with some really incredible people in this podcast in the coming episodes. So my intention for this podcast episode is to give you a little introduction on, who I am and what my testimony is, what has been my path so far. And, I really felt God calling me to do this podcast. The Holy Spirit spoke through me and gave me this idea. And I did wrestle with it for a while because I thought, well, I'm not even baptized yet. I still have that coming up. Who am I to be speaking about Christianity when I'm still so new to it? But the Holy Spirit did not leave me alone. I just felt that tug and I knew I have to go out and, do this. And I know it's special because I believe that, a lot of people out there making podcasts, sharing their wisdom, they're like so many steps further ahead already. But in this case, I'm maybe like half a step ahead of you, if at all. So we're really on this journey together. And, for me, I feel like it would have helped me so much when I was starting out to really hear voices authentically of people who are only just getting started as well. So I'm really hoping that, hearing my journey and hearing these conversations that I'll be sharing here is going to give you courage. And, I really want to share, the beginning, the first part of my testimony, which is how I even came to faith. And I'm going to be honest, this was a process that took 25 years, right? Like, I can't even believe it. Like, when I say that, I just get goosebumps because it is just like, it's been such a long time coming. And finally, I'm here. So, okay. As I mentioned, it started 25 years ago when I was still in high school, and I had wonderful friends who were Christians, and even back then, I noticed there was something different about my Christian friends, I noticed they're so clear. They know exactly who they are. They know where they've come from, and they especially know where they're going. And they were so grounded in their principles, in the way that they live. They didn't make any compromises. They were so fully grounded. And even back then, when I was still so young, I noticed that they were different from everyone else. I sensed there was something special about them. And, in university also, I had some really good friends who were Christians. And again, there I noticed they're so grounded, they're so clear. And it was something that I always admired. And it was always something where I wished, gosh, I wish I was so clear. I wish I was so grounded, But so already back then, my belief was, well, this simply isn't available to me. That kind of clarity, that kind of knowing that I am saved, salvation is waiting for me. I'm grounded in faith. I simply believed all that is not available to me because I'm not a believer. I did not grow up as a Christian. And, I didn't even know if God really exists. So I kind of just accepted my fate that it's not available available to me, and that I'm basically condemned to spending my life searching, right? And so what followed on was many years of searching. And it brought me into the whole, new age field as well. And I really dug deep in there. I tried out all sorts of things. And I truly believed that I'm just going to spend my life being a seeker. And, there are even people who identify as being seekers. They're like, yeah, this is my identity, right? Like, I'm a seeker. I search. And while I never kind of attached my identity to this process of searching, I was searching, and I believed that it is my fate, unfortunately, to be an eternal seeker, right? And I searched everywhere, far and wide, and I tried everything. And at some point, I just got really, really tired of searching and believing that I might possibly never find. And there was this really, really deeply rooted desire to finally find, right? And so last year, as God would have it, He connected me to a wonderful woman who has become my very dear friend and also mentor. And she is also a new Christian. And so it was really under her guidance that I also embarked on this new path. And I really want to share with you that one sentence that she said that really changed everything for me. It was really a door opener and a game changer. So I kind of just want to give you some context. So I was in her mentoring program, and I thought, we're going to be doing business coaching. And then during that program, she actually really opened up her heart to Christ and, was in this very intense transformation. And of course, it was something that she didn't and couldn't hide from us. And I remember at the time, it was that topic of, in New Age, when we're manifesting, we're visualizing, we're journaling, we're doing all the things. And it's always coming from us. It's always coming from our own strength. The source is meant to be within us and so forth. And if we're not doing all the things, if we're not in high vibe, if we're not working on our energy, if we're not journaling, if we're not visualizing, if we're not doing all the steps to manifest properly, then, whatever we desire is not going to come about. And I remember at some point just feeling so exhausted. It was the sense of like, I just don't want to do this alone anymore. And then my mentor, her name is Cheatham, and you will be meeting her in the next episode, actually. She said, when you walk with Christ, you never fall any lower than into the arms of Christ. And you're not alone. He's with you, and He's walking with you, and He's supporting you, and you're not alone. And I remember hearing this, and there was this I can't even put it into words. I think you can feel it. The sense of like, that is exactly what I want. I want to be held. I want to be supported. I don't want to do all of this on my own anymore. It is so exhausting. I want to be held. And it was this deep sense of relief that there actually is another possibility than having to do everything on my own. And so that was really that moment that opened the door for me. And then fast forward several months, and we came to Bali, and I met Cheatham in person, and I started going to her church and becoming a part of her community. And so then what happened was that very first time that we were in church, and there was worshiping and there was praise, and it was just so beautiful. And the pastor spoke such moving words. And I was there in all the midst of it and was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all the feels. And at the same time, there was this great sense of guilt, right? I thought, gosh, I'm a phony. I'm a fake. I shouldn't be here because I'm not even a Christian yet. I don't even know if I believe in God. This is not right. I shouldn't be here. And it was exactly the feeling that I had 25 years ago when in high school, a friend took me along to a Christian youth group. And I thought, I shouldn't be here. I'm a phony, right? And this is, a feeling that is so uncomfortable, but I truly believed I shouldn't be here if I'm not a full-blown Christian yet. If I can't say with 100%, I believe in God, if I'm not baptized yet and all the things. So I shared this with Cheatham, and what she said changed everything for me. She said, you don't need to know 100% yet. You don't need to be sure. So many people here have doubts, have questions, are grappling with all of these topics. The only thing you need is to be open, is to be curious. Wow, that moment changed everything, because yes, I am open and curious. And I realized in that moment I always have been. But I had no idea that that was enough, right? And gosh, I just had no idea that just being open and curious would be enough. And that changed everything, because when she asked me, are you open? Are you curious? I said, yes, with all of my heart. Yes, I am. And she said, well, that is enough. So that propelled me onto this path that I'm on now, where with a pure heart, with an open, seeking heart, I could say, yes, I'm open, I'm curious. I want to get to know Jesus Christ. I want to go to church, be a part of a community, read the Bible, praise, worship. And I can't even begin to say how much that has changed in my life, what it has changed in my family, what it has changed in my marriage. And I'm only just getting started. I'm like, wow, if this is the beginning, like what else am I going to be able to experience with Jesus walking next to me? So, and that is what I'm going to be sharing with you in, many more episodes as more parts of my testimony, because this is just the beginning. And so much has happened and so much is happening. And a lot of it, yes, is still very raw. It's still like, gosh, very tender. There are some tender openings. There are some topics that I'm not ready to share full blown yet, but I know I will along the line, because I know this is also, part of my calling is to share these stories, because I know that I am going to be helping so many people with that, because when I heard testimonies of other people and realized I'm not alone in this, that changed so much for me. So I'm going to be sharing more parts of my testimony over the coming weeks. And as mentioned, there will be interviews. The very next interview is going to be with my wonderful friend and mentor, Cheatham. I cannot wait. And yeah, so on this note, I'm so excited for you to be here. Please do subscribe to my podcast, and you can also listen. Yeah, you can listen to it on Spotify or on YouTube. I'm still very new to all of this. I'm so excited for everything that is going to be developing here. And yes, see you in the next episode. Sending you all of my love and God's blessings.